all the...
On the website of the Federal Department of Veterans Affairs, in black and white, it states the sad truth about many of the men and women who serve this country in uniform. Current population estimates suggest that about 195,000 veterans, male and female, are homeless on any given night, and perhaps twice as many experience homelessness at some point during the course of a year. A grotesque statistic that Senator John Edwards has repeatedly cited during his bid for the presidency, most recently last night.
Tonight, across this country, 200,000 men and women who wore our uniform and served this country patriotically, veterans, will go to sleep under bridges and on grates.
A grotesque statistic, fully vetted by the U.S. government, even under the presidency of George W. Bush. A shaming statistic that, in our third story in the countdown, Bill O'Reilly is still denying and, in fact, laughing at, most recently, last night. His latest, the second in a week, as he made political hay off the backs of homeless vets. A segment with radio show host Ed Schultz.
As far as John Edwards is concerned, I think his message is strong and he's got tremendous conviction, but I think he needs a little bit more material than just the To America talk. He's got to get.
Well, we're still looking for all the veterans sleeping under the bridges, Ed. So if you find anybody, let us know, because that's all the guys said for the last 3 months.
Don't kid yourself.
They may be out there, but there's not many of them out there. Okay, so if you know where one is, Ed,
now wait a minute.
If you know where there's a veteran sleeping under a bridge, you call me immediately, and we will make sure that man does not do it. Does not there.
I will do that.
Okay.
Joined now by Paul Rykoff, Executive Director of IAVA, the Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. Thanks for coming in, Paul.
My pleasure, Keith.
Well, we know what we want to say here, and it involves suggesting Mr. O'Reilly should go and do something anatomically impossible to himself with that attitude. But do you know any homeless vets by any chance?
Absolutely. I mean, the VA says there are approximately 200,000 of all generations. We know that there are at least 1,500 that have served in Iraq and Afghanistan. Our organization and others are in touch with them every day. I made a few phone calls today to my friends who work in Los Angeles. They go out to Skid Row every day, and they said they're tracking 6 Iraq veterans alone that are living out in Los Angeles. We know there are about 5 or 10 here in New York. So they're there. This is a very real problem. And all you have to do, to be honest with you, if you're Bill O'Reilly, is go downstairs and look out in the streets of New York.
Right.
And you can find homeless veterans living on our streets every night.
Right. He's 2 blocks this way from where we are. He's 2 blocks downtown, 3 blocks uptown on Fifth Avenue. There's one church by which you see 40 or 50 guys in the neighborhood, if not all at the same time. Right. They're there. I mean, you have to deliberately try to avoid seeing this problem. Is that what he's doing? Do you have any idea what the mentality is? Have you encountered any of this where people don't want to deny it? Because it can't be that anybody's making this statistic up. If the VA is even admitting this, it can't. It's not a publicity stunt of some sort.
I mean, I don't know. This is the guy that went after the USO just a few weeks before. So I don't know what his agenda is here, but we hope that he uses this as an opportunity to focus on a very critical issue. Homeless veterans are real. We provided your producers with video that was shot in Los Angeles just 2 weeks ago. They're out on the streets. We helped produce a documentary about it called When I Came Home that tracked the life of an Iraq veteran who was homeless living in Brooklyn. So this is a very real problem. We need everybody's help, and we need folks to support our veterans. This isn't a partisan issue. It's not about John Edwards. It's about taking care of the people when they come home.
Is there a way to explain that 200,000 figure and the other one, the 340 or so thousand who are intermittently homeless over the year? Which left-wing, anti-American, secular, progressive, NBC-dominated organization provided that number?
The VA.
Yeah.
The VA, which provides health care to millions of veterans all over the country. And this is an organization that's had a hard time keeping up with them. But this is unfortunately what happens when you don't take care of veterans who come home with severe mental health issues, who face financial problems, and face, to be honest with you, a real lack of low-cost housing. That's a recipe for homelessness. And we're seeing this number rise. And this is an after effect of war that's predictable, and we need the entire country to rally behind. And I hope Bill O'Reilly will join our outreach folks in a van that goes out to Skid Row just about every day. We'd be happy to take him out there and his crew and show them that there are homeless vets living on the streets right now.
Well, he said, I think what I heard him say was he would arrange some sort of coverage for, and I mean that in a literal sense, not of the television sense, of any homeless vet to make sure they're not homeless tonight. How much does that cost? What does, with his big mouth, Bill O'Reilly owe these homeless vets, 195,000 or so, just to put them inside someplace warm, say for a year? What would the price of that be?
About $15,000 for supportive services for one veteran. Guy. About $15,000 for room, board, supportive servicing and the staffs that can take care of them. It's about $15,000. So as a country, if we wanted to multiply that times 200,000, you're at about $2.6 billion, which is a drop in the bucket compared to what we're spending in Iraq every day. So it's really about priorities, and we hope that we can use this as an opportunity to focus on veterans issues. Last night was a great step. The presidential candidates finally started talking about traumatic brain injury, post-traumatic stress disorder, and the other issues that we've been focused on for years now.
We'll also probably have to explain to Bill O'Reilly that not every one of these guys, 200,000 guys, lives under a bridge. He may be fixated on that term. The guys with bridges to sleep under, maybe the lucky ones. Those are the guys who have cover. Those are the guys who have protection against the elements. I mean, there are people who are literally on the streets, nothing above them, maybe a piece of cardboard. This is not some joke that he should be making.
And there are also families. There are children. We've met some single moms that are veterans that are living on the streets with their kids, and there are actually people living under bridges. This film, When I Came Home, opens with a very powerful scene of a Vietnam veteran who literally lives under a bridge in California. He's created a makeshift living situation for himself, so it's very real, and it's not something we should mock, and it's something we need to address urgently.
And he just doesn't think it's true, therefore it's not true.
Step outside on the streets of New York. We could probably see some over our shoulder right now, unfortunately.
If he could wish it away, I'd go over and shake his hand. If it could be, if he's correct and it's not true, I'll go over and shake his hand. I'll kiss his hand if it's not true because he takes homeless veterans off the street.
We can sell tickets and raise money for vets.
Right, give it to them. Paul Rykoff, Executive Director of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you, sir.